I'll tell you one funny. The one thing that happened to me with President Obama that I probably have never shared this before. It was a campaign event, and Bruce Springsteen was there. President Obama came out, and I had this idea for the picture. So I had my wide angle lens all set, and I clicked the shutter, and nothing happened. I was 8 years old and was watching live TV as Lee Harvey Oswald, who assassinated President Kennedy, was being booked at the jail in Dallas. I'm watching this live on TV, and there's like a whole commotion. You see somebody run out in front, and you hear the announcer say that Oswald had been shot. Oswald had been shot. Like, I'm watching it live, and I'm like, I did not see what just happened. What is he talking about? I was watching it live, and I didn't see anything. This is back in the day when there was no instant replay. And then it was the next day, my local newspaper published the photo by Bob Jackson of Ruby shooting Oswald, and it was clear as day. There was something that I think stuck in my brain forever about that situation, about the power of a still photograph. I was not really a fan of Reagan's. I was hesitant. Things were going really well for me in Chicago. This was just kind of out of the blue. And initially, I told her I wasn't interested. And then I went home that night and thought about history and convinced myself, what difference does it make whether I was a fan of Reagan's or not? I thought maybe this would be a unique chance to document a presidency from the inside. I thought at the time, this is like the only opportunity I am ever going to have in my life to do something like this. So why not do it? So I called her back and said that I would love to interview for the job. The Reagans were not arguing. And Mrs. Reagan was not upset, but questioning something that was going on. It's a funny photo because of the expressions on their faces. Michael Jackson is between them in the background, and he looks like he's part of the wallpaper, like eavesdropping on this conversation between the Reagans. I think it's kind of a funny, odd photo, given the revelations about Michael Jackson and iconic status as a pop star. It was taken in 1984, I believe. 50 years from now, when people are learning about Michael Jackson, they'll look at this photograph and go, what the heck is going on? Plus, he's wearing that blue sequin suit, and he's got the one white glove on, and it's like, who is this guy? That was the first time I met Obama. I got to meet his family, saw the kids. That's kind of how that all started. He understood what I was trying to do. I just want to be able to tag along and photograph whatever happens. I think I noticed right away how comfortable he was with having somebody like me kind of tag along. He just felt completely at ease that I was in his private space taking photographs. Part of it is just I have a knack for being able to do that. But also, I think it's a testament to who he is as a person. When I came in there, I'd had a lot of experiences, both with another president, but also I covered the war in Afghanistan, Kosovo. I think being a seasoned guy was really helpful. And photography is you've got this 3x2 format box that you're looking through, your viewfinder. And what you include in each corners of that box is whether a photograph is successful or not compositionally. And so I became really cognizant of framing my pictures, trying to include, when necessary, some of the historical elements of the White House, and then being comfortable enough to not just randomly click that shutter, but trying to click the shutter at just the right time, at the precise moment. We were going to Rhode Island, and I was on the second helicopter that was going to land near the ocean. His helicopter is about to land. The motorcade is like right beside that first helicopter. You'd think I'd hang out right there, but I walked down to the ocean. And I remember Secret Service agents said, what are you doing down here? Like, we're going to get right in the car. And I said, no, 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 he's going to walk down to the ocean. Wasn't like he told me he was going to do that. I just know, he grew up on the ocean, right? I knew he would walk down, just take a glance at the ocean and the sun setting. And that's what he did. That was probably the most difficult day to be a photographer. And you mentioned that picture and what he had just been through. The 2.5 hours before that picture was made is what was difficult for him and difficult for me, and that was meeting with all the families. There were 26 families that had a loved one killed, and 20 of those were parents who lost a first grade kid, and for those parents to be meeting the president of the United States under those circumstances where their 6 or 7-year-old kid had just been shot to death, 2 days before. I just can't imagine. People were in shock. You could see it on their faces. And it was very, very difficult. Somebody had an iPhone photo of me where I'm in the background on that day, and I'm crying. I was crying. I mean, it was just overwhelming. And look, I'm just taking photos. He's having to hug these people and learn about their kid and listen to their stories, hugging each of them, trying to say just the right words to them to put them at ease. And then to take all of that and pause for a moment in this empty classroom to try to gather his thoughts, but also B, I think he was adding some words to the remarks he was just about to make at the public event. I think that photograph that you mentioned, I think that stirs up all those memories for me and probably for him. He's just working on his volume 2 of his memoir. And he asked me to, he's going to include some photos. And he asked me to do an edit for him. And that's one of the photos I sent him. It was challenging. I tried to eat right, tried to get exercise, which was hard to do because I didn't have a lot of time. Try to get a few hours sleep every night. Just trying to remain healthy was the most important thing when trying to maintain the physicality of that job, which you don't think, oh, well, you're just hanging around making photographs. Well, yeah, but you're doing it every day, all day. And the travel was brutal. I went to Australia with him twice. We ended up spending one night in Australia. Just crazy, crazy flights. I think we went to Afghanistan 4 times, all under the radar. That's a 14-hour flight. You're on the ground for maybe 6 hours, and then you get back on the plane, you fly home. If I were to get 3 or 4 hours a night sleep, I would be happy. The physical part of it was quite difficult. I'll tell you the one thing that happened to me with President Obama that I probably have never shared this before. It was a campaign event in Madison, Wisconsin, and Bruce Springsteen was there. And I had this idea for the picture as it was happening to get them embracing with the state capitol in the background. So I had my wide angle lens all set, and I clicked the shutter and nothing happened. And I was dumbfounded. I tried it again and nothing happened. And so I had to switch to my other camera, which had a telephoto lens, but I couldn't fit the entire Capitol in the background. I didn't know what the hell had happened until I looked back at my camera to see what was going on. And somehow, just bumping my body or something, the shutter switched to self-timer mode. So it was set for 30 seconds. So it was not going to click until 30 seconds after I pushed the button.
You have 2 granddaughters, Pete?
I do.
Yeah. Can I ask how old are they?
One turns 3 next week, and the other one turns 6 in 2 weeks.
What's more difficult, getting a candid picture of the President of the United States or your granddaughter to look at the camera?
Well, I have to admit, a period of time, they kind of both get used to me. President Obama, of course, I was there every day for 8 years, so he kind of just, I wouldn't say he forgot about me, but I mean, my presence was not really noticeable to him. It was just expected that I would be there. Mostly when you're photographing your granddaughters, you want to be part of their life, much more so than when I was documenting President Obama. I'm not, interacting with him all the time. Whereas with my granddaughters, I sometimes am. There's a funny video that I took the other day of the almost 3-year-old. She thought I was taking a picture of her with my iPhone, but I was actually on video, and she was like, no pictures, no pictures. So I guess they're more challenging.